All right, folks, good morning. My name is Jordan Eller, and I'm the Specialized Services and Supports Manager in the Community Services Department. Happy Friday, and welcome to Coffee with Community Services. Kind of let you guys know who we have here from our agency today. I see Michelle McDonald's, Community Services Manager over Adult and Residential Services. Good morning, Miss Shirley. Shirley works on our work and day programs. Carly is our employment specialist. Good morning, Carly. Dan Kilmer, specialized resource developer. Dan's been working really hard on the Marisol Village project, and we have clients getting interviewed and hopefully slated to move in January. So kudos to Dan for all his hard work on that. Good morning, Cindy Lay, adult services, client services manager. Tracy Brown, associate director of client services. Hi, Tracy. I see we always have Gary also working on day and work programs. Good morning, Gary. We have Helen Neary, community services manager over our intake and clinical and EI type services. We have Miss Catherine Weston. Happy Friday, Catherine, Woodland office, client services manager. We have Christy Schaefer, who is the acting HCBS specialist. She's helping cover that for us. So kudos to Christy for working so hard while our new specialist starts in December. And I see Miss Rowena. Happy Friday, Rowena, residential services manager. I see Zach, our excellent executive assistant of John Decker. Hello, Zach. And let's see who we have on page 2 here. I think that's most of our staff. So the agenda items that we have for you today, we're going to give you an update. Helen's going to talk to you a little bit about the social rec grants that are going on. Michelle's going to give you an update on the HCBS workshops and the DDS directive that recently came out. We're going to have Carly talk a little bit about the micro enterprise fair that's coming up. We're also going to have Nicole Nielsen, I believe, is going to be joining us. I didn't see her yet, but she's going to be joining us to talk about Santa Day. And then I'm going to show you guys some new transparency information we have on our website for our community resource development plan. So at this time, I will, and I also see Nicole has joined us from Community Services. Good morning, Nicole. I'll go ahead and let Helen take the floor here and talk about the social rec grant opportunities.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay. All right. So, and I am going to wait. I got a message on my computer, Jordan, says make sure your speaker devices. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
All right. So, if I want to know if any of the participants here are here to hear about the social recreation grant. I know I've been, I got some calls from CBOs that are not typically attending Coffee with Community Services, and they said they will be in attendance today. And so Jordan, I may ask to go like last, if possible, because I don't think the others have signed in yet, to give chance to the CBOs and after school programs that have called to sign in. Is that okay?
Absolutely. We're flexible. We're relaxed here at Coffee with Community Services. No problem.
Okay. Thank you, Jordan.
We'll let Miss Michelle let us know how things are going with HCBS.
Good morning, everyone. So a lot of you probably got an email from us regarding the new directive from DDS that came out November 8th. Just letting us know that all documentation needed for your HCBS remediation plans and some validation documentation is due by December 5th. So we have started, we will begin to do HCBS workshops. We have 2 of them scheduled right now. The first one is November 29th. That's a Tuesday from 9 to 1. And that will be in person here. And we have 25 spots available. Christy has been working really hard, reaching out to everyone and everyone that had questions once they got that email. So if it's successful, we would like to do one a couple a month and continue doing that. So the second date is December 2nd. From 9 to noon, and that will be in person as well in the Redwood room. So If you guys have some questions, if you received an email, we're getting a lot of emails just saying, we thought we were compliant and we submitted the documentation. So it's really easy of us to go and just provide, if you could email us at hcbs at altaregional.org. Thank you, Christy. She put it in the chat. If you could send us an email and just give us your vendor name and number. Sometimes they're very simple additions to the program design where you wouldn't have to come to a workshop, and we can read the notes there. So always reach out to us. And I think, Christy, do you have, can you provide me an update of any opening spots, how many we have per date?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked. So the November 29th workshop is actually full, but the December 2nd workshop, and as of this morning, so the December workshop is still open. There's plenty of spots. So please feel free to email hcbs@altaregional.org and provide, as Michelle had said, your vendor name and number, and then I can sign you up for that workshop.
And yeah, and just we will definitely be having more, so we'll keep a running list. And so if we fill the which we probably will, the December 2nd one, we'll keep a running list. We'll reach out to that list once we schedule the next two. And let me see here. I did have one more thing to share and it escaped my mind. So hopefully it'll come back to me. So,
And I think, Michelle, were we just going to let folks know that we haven't received any more updates on remote services, like any direction?
Yes. And I will give you, so I'll give you a little update on that. And while you were talking, I remembered it, Jordan. So during the workshop, we're hoping that we can sit down. You're going to be basically assigned a specialist. I will work with you, Christy. I know Cindy Lay, who was our previous HCBS specialist, she said that she would hopefully be able to come in and support as well. And so our overall goal is to pull all of your documentation and have it ready, have what you need to complete. And by the time you walk out the door, it's all complete and compliant. So that is our hope. And I will, bring your, if you have laptops, I will be reaching out to our IT department to see if we can have a couple just in case something goes wrong, we can support. So, and that was that update. So regarding the remote services, how that's going to look at the beginning of the year, we really don't have any updates. We're still waiting on that. Hopefully, we're waiting for them any day. So hopefully we can have some kind of update regarding the remote services, if they're going to be required to be in ratio program, during program times and all of that. We're still waiting on information. So I believe that our next Coffee with Community Services will be the 2nd, Jordan. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so hopefully we will have some more information to share regarding that at that time.
Excellent.
Any questions regarding the HCBS? I don't see anything in the chat at this time. Okay, thank you guys.
Oh, there's one raised hand. Let's see.
Oh.
Whoever's got their hand raised, please feel free to unmute yourself and go ahead and address your question.
That's Cindy. Good morning, everyone. Michelle, I do have a question regarding alternative services for clients. So if when January comes and a program has not been identified yet and the POS for alternative services expires, what do you expect to happen?
We really haven't been given an update on how that's going to work. I do have a meeting with John when he gets back to get some further information. So if you have those questions, just email me and I'll put my email in the chat so that I can bring those to John when I do meet with him.
Yeah, because my understanding is that a lot of the programs, they don't have room to bring clients back in person. And so a lot of the clients who have alternative services may be out of services by January. And so that's a big concern for us.
Yeah, and we're hoping that the remote services will support in that as well. And I know one of the questions is if we're required to be in ratio in person, can we have, are we required to be in ratio for remote services and those kind of things? So those are still all the answers we're waiting on from the department.
Mm-hmm. So in the meantime, do you think that the SEs should switch the POSs over to traditional services, or is accounting going to assist with that part of it?
I would have to ask accounting if they will. So,
Got it.
but I will put that down to talk to John about on what that process will look like. And then
Awesome.
for
Thank
anyone
you.
else, I know you know my email, Cindy, but for anyone else, if you have questions
Thanks.
like that, please feel free to send those to me and I will review those with him and get back.
Yeah. And I think in general, right, since we know alternative services is ending 12 of 31, I feel like John Decker maybe in the past had indicate planning team should be preparing to end, you know, the SC should be preparing to end those POSs. But like Michelle said, she'll confirm that, Cindy. But I feel like that's the direction that we heard in the past.
Yeah, Jordan, this is Rowena. I do want to echo in case management, that has been the direction planning teams are having those conversations. And if we need to cancel those traditional alternative, we're switching them to traditional now for planning team.
Yeah, that would be my understanding. So, but you know, Michelle will get further when John Decker returns on the 21st. Thank you very much, Rowena. And I see that Eric had his hand up. Eric, did you have a question?
Yeah, just something related alternative services and this transition in COVID. We've been on this path to reopen services, and I think there's been a lot of optimism that this is the end of COVID in the ways that it's been for a long time. I just want to raise one concern about that. We have been seeing, we provide transportation, Eric Champ with United Cerebral Palsy. So we provide transportation day services. So we've seen quite a lot of COVID cases the last few weeks. I believe last I checked, 6 of my 6 programs have closed due to COVID outbreaks that are served by my transportation department. For example, we haven't hit the holidays, you know, Christmas and Thanksgiving. And with licensed facilities, you know, you don't necessarily have the flexibility that other non-licensed settings have to, you know, stay open and do some things. So just started to feel a little bit concerned about that transition date, and just having folks maybe be paying attention as we go into the Thanksgiving holiday and then the Christmas holiday. If this time last year we had that big spike, and you know, if the state still remains committed to coming off of alternative services, you may be in a place where programs can't be open though because of COVID outbreaks in January. And how do we handle that? I don't think that was really anticipated. I think we all thought, including me, that this was largely behind us, but we're seeing that happening now. As we're a little concerned, I'd like to raise that as a concern and as a topic that should be talked about, so that there's a plan and strategy and folks are thinking and we're not caught off guard by that if it happens. So just
Very good point. And I know that last year we had a huge spike in COVID in January. So I definitely, and you know, we're seeing it around, you know, around here as well, and hearing from vendors, residential day program, you know, those things. So very good point, Eric. That's something too. We'll have Michelle chat with John about on the return. And, you know, the PAC is looking at trying to get some workshops open as well, right? Michelle, we're going to be working with some of the PAC members to get some workshops for day return to traditional services. So that's something else that I think that group can be talking about too, Eric, and try to provide some support to other vendors in that area.
Well, here, one question is if alternative services ended, but the state of emergency still exists and a program has to close because of a COVID outbreak, would they be eligible for absentee billing again?
Okay.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be able to confirm that for you today, but yeah.
Just
that's
putting this
something
kind
I
of
will,
on the
great.
calendar side a
Great
little bit
question.
to talk about those things so that we have some answers when we get to January.
Okay.
Absolutely. And maybe we can ask John to address some of that on December 2nd at coffee as well. So those
Yeah.
are great points, guys. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, Teresa, I agree, right? The surge definitely could be coming. And then Maria.
Jordan, I do see there's a question in the chat regarding if TDS can our remote services be covered under our TDS component to help us with transition while we are transitioning? Are we talking about using TDS remotely, or are we talking about a billing question there? I think it's Mary. You can just elaborate on that.
It's more of to I guess it's both to cover the the barriers that we're experiencing with transportation and with like shortage of staff. So we want to be able to provide a variety of specific services to our clients, but in the meantime, we want to be able to still reach them while we're transitioning and getting our staff back up and experiencing the certain barriers with transportation. So like would our Zoom be covered underneath under TDS?
So I know that Carly's on and she is our TDS expert, so I will let her share. Can you give us a little update if it's, about the remote and TDS?
Yeah, and I actually I saw Andrea did too. I included something in the chat. So TDS can be done remotely, but keep in mind it is still a one-on-one service, regardless of whether it's in person or provided remotely.
And then
Thank
as
you.
for the billing, is it billing for per hour? How does that, or is it like per
Yes,
day?
it's per hour.
Okay, so if we did like 1 hour of Zoom education, then we would be able to bill for that hour.
Correct.
Okay.
Keep in mind though, TDS cannot be used on the same day as the other day or employment program. So if you're looking to supplement, like do half days of like the regular day or employment program, and then do like the other half is like TDS, that wouldn't be allowable.
Okay, because we're planning, so that's essentially similar to our plan. My next question is if they decide to change the specific service, like say we're transitioning from Zoom and then we do a different kind of service that they would like that's within our scope, does that change the POS at all, or is that still covered under TDS?
Depending on what the service is, it would still be covered under TDS. Can you give me some more specifics?
Yeah. So say we transition from like right now we'll do like Zoom like for an hour for this one client, and then once we're able to have more staff, we transition to maybe doing a community outing or doing an hour with them in the home. Does that change at all? Like if they decide to change their mind about which type of TDS service or
Yeah, so that would still be TDS. TDS cannot be provided in the home though, because the purpose of TDS is designed to help them increase their integration in the community.
Okay, so it would be more community integration activities, not in the
Yes.
home. Okay, all right, thank you.
And we are working on some forums and workshops with TDS, and our PAC is also looking at partnering with us to kind of support programs that want to add TDS, and how that transition looks. So we are in the process of kind of scheduling those and seeing what volunteers we have from the PAC and our specialists. So we will give you more information on that in the next following couple weeks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carly.
Yeah, very much. Thank you so much, Carly. Great topics, and thank you all for bringing up questions and concerns. That's great. We'll update John Decker on all this as well. So any other questions on that? All right, then what we'll do is, Carly, while you're kind of still on the floor here, if you want to give us an update about the Micro Enterprise Fair.
Yeah, so November 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at the Alta Harvard office in Sacramento, we are hosting a micro enterprise fair for our clients who own their own businesses. We already have a good handful of clients who will be joining us, but we definitely still have more room for anyone else who might like to join. It is open to anyone who would like to come join us, come look around at our clients' businesses. We have some arts and crafts. We have someone who's going to be selling hot chocolate bombs and some baked goods. I believe we have a hot chocolate and tea business. Lots of fun, creative businesses. So please come join us, even if you don't know anyone who's interested in having a table. It'll still be a fun event to come and support our clients who are entrepreneurs and looking to grow their businesses. Again, that's November 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at the Sacramento Alta office. And I can put that information in the chat.
No, that's great, Carly. Thank you so much. Yeah, right. We can get a head start on some of our Christmas shopping, right? And support our clients and at the same time. So that's super exciting. I always like seeing the micro enterprises. Right. Any questions about that? All right.
I'm sorry, could you just repeat the times, please?
Yes, it was 10 to 2 on the 30th of November, which is the Wednesday. So anyone is welcome to come and check it out, and do a little shopping, enjoy some hot cocoa, tea. Okay. Well, then up next, we have Miss Nicole Nielsen, who is one of our client services managers over our children's unit. And she has some exciting news about Santa Day. So we want to make sure all of our stakeholders and community members are aware of that. So Nicole, I will let you have the floor.
Thank you, Jordan. Hello, everyone. One of two Nicoles here on the screen today. Arguably the inferior Nicole, because I often get Nicole Smith's emails and I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman's plethora of knowledge blows my mind. I've always learned something new, but anyway, hi everyone. As Jordan mentioned, I'm one of the client services managers in the children's unit. Santa Day and the Giving Tree are one of my deep passions in life. I live for this, especially as a manager, because I don't really get to see clients in person anymore. So Santa Day is when I look forward to kind of just securing that energy throughout the year. So our event is called Santa Day. That's the traditional name that we've used, but we are really working towards having a very inclusive event that doesn't exclude anyone's culture or holiday tradition. So this year we're having people come and set up different booths and areas to kind of share their culture, share their traditions, whatever that is. So if it's arts and crafts, we have someone coming to make pine cone ornaments, and we've got a Charlie Brown booth getting set up. We have a couple of photo booths. Mr. and Mrs. Claus will be there to take photos and give out toys. Mrs. Claus will look a lot like me with gray hair, but it's not me, it's Mrs. Claus, just so you know, she's a real person. Anyway, so we'll have toys, we'll have cookies, all of the snacks. Usually we would have a big table with cookies and the kids would just come and grab them and eat them, and it was a wild, crummy mess. With COVID, we're doing all prepackaged snacks. So we will have refreshments available. We'll have pictures, activities, crafts. We have groups coming to set up for to celebrate Hanukkah with us, which we realized that Friday is Shabbat. So they may not be there in the later afternoon because they need to get home before sunset for Sabbath. So we have someone coming to set up a Kwanzaa table. We have some vendors participating. In fact, we just confirmed another vendor today. Anyone is welcome to come and participate. Someone asked me a question that had not occurred to me is, do they need to have a background check to participate? No, nobody needs a background check. Use your best judgment. Come have a great time. The event is going to be on Friday, December 9th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. here at the main Sacramento Harvard Street office. And you do not have to register to attend. Clients can just come and show up. I would say historically it's been more geared towards children, but we absolutely have adult clients who love this event. There's a particular client, I know his name is Danny. He shows up every Santa Day at 8 o'clock in the morning, dressed to the nines with a collared shirt and slacks. And he just waits in the lobby for 2 hours until Santa Day starts. And it's just a joy. So last year we did a drive-through event. Because of COVID, we couldn't have it in person, and we ended up doing goodie bags, and we gave away close to 1,000 goodie bags last year. So at some point, goodie bags became John Decker's hand sanitizer leftovers. So sorry to the families that came late, this year, instead of doing one goodie bag and handing those out, people are just going to, if they want to do a giveaway or have a treat at their table, they can just bring it and set it up. So I have no idea how many people we anticipate. Historically, it's been at least 300 to 400 people that come in throughout the day, especially when it's 10 to 4. I do not expect anyone who wants to participate to then provide 400 items to give away. So please know that if you would like to participate, there's no pressure on going all out. There's no maximum amount or minimum amount that you have to put in. It's just really to come and celebrate with the clients. There's also opportunities to do general volunteers, like handing out photos and handing out goodies when they come through the line with Santa and Mrs. Claus. And then we also have an option just for donations. So a lot of people don't really want to come to the event or don't like crowds, but they want to give us some cookies to set out. We're open for that too. So it's going to be a really exciting event. We have not had it in person for 3 years. So I'm really, really looking forward to just the energy and the laughter and the smiles that we're going to see downstairs. It's just such a joyous event and a great way for us to close out the year. So does anybody have questions about Santa Day?
I have one quick one, Nicole. So if now, and you, sorry if you already said this, but if somebody does want to volunteer, drop off gifts, is there a specific email or folks just emailing you? Do we have a Santa Day dedicated email?
Thank you for that. So we do have a Santa Day committee email at Alta.
Okay.
You can also email me directly. And then also I'll put it in the chat. I sent it out in an all staff email, but we do have a sign up on the Q Drive.
Okay, great. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to put that email in the chat for our community members so they can reach out, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, I will do that. And then that way, yeah, because we do, last year we had 2 or 3 vendors that came and they had such a great experience that they actually contacted me around the end of summer this year and said, "What are you doing Santa Day again? We can't wait to be there." So I'm really excited. And it's nice to have our community partners there. So it's not a vendor fair. So it's not a let me advertise my services. It's just a fun thing. And if you guys, like we had last year, one of the vendors printed out water bottles with their logo on it, and that was their giveaway. And that's
nice.
great. It's perfectly okay to do that. It's a little free advertisement in there as well. So if anybody wants to participate, send me a message. We'd love to have you.
That's super exciting. I'm so glad that you had an opportunity to share today. I've actually been at the regional center for 13 years and I've usually was in court. I was our forensic specialist before this, so I frequently couldn't attend Santa Day. So I've signed up for the photo booth from 2 to 4. So I will be there this year. Oh, good. Yeah. So I'm excited to participate as well, Nicole. I know that a lot of people.
Jordan, you're going to love it.
Oh, good. I've heard amazing things. And I know that a lot of my units involved in the committee and everybody has amazing things to say about it. So I'm super excited to see that, see it all in action.
And then also just a note that employees here, there's always been this sort of like myth that you have to use sick day or vacation or something to participate. You do not. You can come throughout the day, hang out, come in, come out in between meetings. You can stay all day if you want. It's totally acceptable for that. And your manager should not give you any flack.
No, it's definitely an agency event that we want to promote for our clients and our community. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you for letting me spotlight that, Jordan. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you need to give another shout out in December 2nd, don't hesitate to get with John Decker and we'll get you on the agenda for the 2nd too. No
awesome.
problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Any other questions, you guys, while I'm here?
Yeah, I had a quick one.
All right.
First of all, thanks for putting this on. I love your enthusiasm for it. I know a lot of folks look forward to it, so thank you. I'm curious, do you have a flyer for the event that we can send out to folks?
I do, and I have it in English and Spanish, so I can share that. I don't know if I can put an attachment in the chat or if I can send it to Jordan and she can share it. It doesn't look like I can put an attachment here.
Yeah, you can definitely send it to me. And Garrett, I definitely have your email address. I can get it over to you, but I'm just thinking too, do we have it on our website where providers could get it, download it from our website at all?
You know what? I think it is because it's on our intranet page.
Okay.
So I'm going to look right now because my website is upon my hands. Let's see. You know what? I don't see it on here.
Okay.
But I can reach out to Thalia and she can put it on there.
Okay, that would be great.
Yeah,
That
let me
would be
do
great.
that. Thank you, Jordan. That's a great idea.
Yeah. And then we can also see it, because we have that chip mail service where we can send out mass emails to vendors and such.
Yeah.
So we'll chat about that and try to get that out. And Garrett, in the meantime, I can definitely send it to you. I have your email address. But if there's other folks today that would like the flyer, I'll save the chat information. So don't hesitate to put your email in and just say Santa Day, and then I'll know that you want me to send you the flyer. But we also will work on kind of a mass distribution, and then also checking our website, because Nicole's going to get it on there as well.
Yeah, and I will get the email and put it in the chat for you guys.
And I think it's also on the social media as well, Jordan.
Oh, great! It's on the social media account. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I think I've seen it on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
And both of those links we have, from our if you go to our website, you can link to our social media from there.
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Shirley. Yes, thank you so much, Nicole.
All
I look
right.
forward to it. All right. And so the next thing I just wanted to do, I know I've chatted with this group and the PAC, and last night I chatted with the board of directors, that we have finalized our proposed community resource development plan to the Department of Developmental Services. We submitted that on Monday. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because per law, per the Welfare and Institution Codes, we're required to share our CRDP plan with the community for transparency. So I am going to share my screen and show you guys where this information is on our website. And so for some of you guys, this may be a repeat, so bear with me if it is. But in general, so the Community Resource Development Plan funds really came about after 2017, There's always been specialized community placement plan funds, which are funds that are used to create community-based resources for clients coming out of state-operated facilities. So now that there are much less state-operated facilities, and closing down developmental centers, those funds are being redistributed to community resource development plans. So this year, I know I've chatted with you guys a little bit about it. We got 109 responses from our community members. I'm going to go over some of those details with you in just a moment. But I wanted to chat with you guys about the 6 areas of development that we've proposed to the project and that we've requested startup funds for. So we're looking at 2 more multifamily home projects. One being in the Woodland area, that would be 18 units for clients and or families. And then also one that's in the unincorporated area of Nevada County, kind of near Lake of the Pines, and that would be looking at 12 units. At this time, we already have been awarded the Marisol Village project. That's 15 units that clients will be, I mentioned earlier, clients will be moving into those in January, the ones that were selected. And then we also have this Cornerstone project out in Elk Grove. And I believe that's either 18 or 20 units. I apologize, I didn't write that down. But so
21 units.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Was that Dan? Thank you, Dan. 21 units. For Cornerstone. So, and the Cornerstone project is something that will probably become available to clients in 2025. Those big housing developments take multiple years, Because it's a huge apartment type complex. The next thing that they are looking at is proposing a statewide housing industry organization. This would be a statewide resource for all regional centers in order to contract with experts, and organizations that network and communicate and know really the best practices and strategies for housing development, and really helping the regional center develop more competencies in developing affordable housing opportunities for our clients with developmental disabilities. So that's something that John Decker, I know, is really passionate about, and we're excited to see, if those things are awarded to us. Within our both our stakeholder feedback and our internal data that we have here at the regional center, we've seen a significant need for specialized residential facilities that are willing to accept clients with criminal justice involvement. The regional centers are written into the penal codes under diversion of individuals with developmental disabilities and in regards to people with developmental disabilities that have been found incompetent to stand trial. So in those cases, the regional centers are court ordered to develop treatment plans, and we're in need of specialized placements for these individuals to go so that we can get them out of the local county jails and into a specialized facility where they can start working on their rehabilitation or support services. So excited to see if that's provided, that's granted. We also have a pretty significant need for additional specialized adult residential facilities for females, right? We've developed community crisis homes and advanced behavioral support homes, which are very high level homes. So when clients have successfully worked that program and they want to be, relocated to a less restrictive setting, we're in need of specialized residential facilities for people to step down into. So that was another great area that we have a lot of data on also internally, and also that came up from the stakeholder feedback. At this time, the regional center is in need of additional psychiatric vendor services. So we're looking at pitching some projects to provide some incentives and some trainings for psychiatrists that may want to apply for vendorization and get special training for individuals with developmental disabilities. We're also excited. This came from data from Rima, our deaf and hard of hearing specialist. She had conducted some stakeholder survey in general regarding the needs of clients that are deaf or hard of hearing, right, and what they're in need of for communication. And it was the data show that we are in desperate need of some American Sign Language vendors and translators in like the Placer, Yuba, YOLO, the outlying areas. So if that project is awarded, we'll be working closely with Rima to get that set up. So those are the areas that we have proposed. In general, we find out in the spring of each year which projects the department is going to approve and how much startup funds we're going to get for each of those projects. Once that information does come in, our approved plan, we're also required to post that on our website. So we'll post all the startup funds and all that information for the community. So in the spring, I'll be providing you another update here on how that, on what we get. So it's always exciting time of year. The one other thing I wanted to show you is just some details. I'll make this, you guys see it okay? Is it big enough? You guys see it okay? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So of the 109 responses that we got, the respondents could enter more than one suggestion, right? We're asking them about development resource needs, and so some would put multiple suggestions. So of just the stakeholder survey feedback, the top 10 priorities are listed here, right? Day program, residential, and in this order, housing, transportation, mental health, social skills, respite, employment, dental, parenting, and support groups. So I'll just kind of talk about, now you guys can access this at any time on our transparency website, right? You just go to altaregional.org, about us, transparency, and then contract awards. And I can put that in the chat if people need it. But kind of in regards to some of the more details, right? We did calculate and show all the different categories that people had suggested that we look at resource development. In regards to day program services, some of the top specialties that were suggested for the types of day program services were behavioral programs for the elderly, and that just in general, opportunities for getting back to in-person services. In regards to residential, there was a high request for the forensically involved clients and clients with a history of substance abuse disorders, and that kind of support need to remain sober, and our support with recovery and long-term recovery. Also a need for elderly and dementia, so looking at like RCFEs, beds for females, youth, and our pushing. In general, housing, affordable housing was definitely key. And like I said, these are the numbers for the most of the other top 10. In regards to respite, right? Families were really looking at respite for behavioral with clients with intense behavioral or maybe self-harm or physical aggression, and then out of home respites, right? So that families can have out of home respite opportunities. And then for employment, the biggest specialty that was noted was for transitional age, right? So that 18 to 22, really honing on employment opportunities for that transitional age. When we get back into kind of the demographics, just kind of so you know who completed this survey, right? Who did we hear from? So for clients and families, those were our biggest survey respondents at 41. Regional and center employees were at 28. Service providers was our second highest category for respondents, which is great. And then other stakeholders might be advocates, school employees, maybe a DSP or a caregiver, and that was at 13. So for a total 109. And then looking at the county, right, of the residents that participated, majority of the folks were from Sacramento, and then Placer, El Dorado, Yolo, Yuba, Sutter, Nevada, kind of in that order. So I think I've mentioned before, but last year we got 54 responses. So we were able to double it this year, which is excellent. So we hope next year that we can double it again. It'll take us longer to analyze all that data, but we need to hear from you guys, right? We need to know what your guys' needs are. And we also take, internal data and information as well. But so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. But does anybody have any questions about that? It was a lot of information. So, and some of you guys might already been aware of it if you're a PAC member or at the board meeting last night. So, all right. So then at that point, I'll just open it up to the floor. If any of you guys have any general agenda items that you would like to discuss, that was our planned agenda for today. So anybody else? You see something just came up in the chat here.
Jordan, I don't know if Helen, if they logged on now, if Helen wants to share.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much. Look at me forgetting about social rec grants. That's not good.
All
I'll give the floor to Helen.
Okay. Thank you, Jordan. And thank you, Michelle. So I will share my screen. I just want to show you guys. Let's see. Oh. Green one. Oh, hang on. Sorry, that's not it. Okay, hang on a second. I know I was. Okay, here it is. So the social recreation grant is available for 8 months. The proposals are due on December 15th, and they are due to the department by January, the end of January. And I want to go over real quick the hang on a second. I can't get to the screen.
No problem. We'll give you a second to try to get the sharing. I know it can be tricky. And when I had to share, I had to look on like the left side to see all my like screen 1, screen 2, if you're using multiple screens.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's what I have to do. And okay, that's the right screen, right, Jordan?
That's correct. We see the website there. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So anybody that are interested in the social recreation grant, here's the RFP. But I also want you guys to, the first one, this one, if you click on this one, it will take you to the application. That's the first, oh no, the first link is the WebEx link. The second link is the application link. However, I would encourage all of you to look at the full social recreation grant. Look at the attachment A, B, C, D, E, and F. And of those attachments, I believe, hang on a second. No, that's not it. Okay. No, no, I'm lost, Jordan.
Was it, I see attachment C right there. Was
Okay.
that the one? Okay.
Yeah, okay, then I need to go back. And this is the full grant. And what this is if you click on attachment A, for example, it tells everything about here the reports, when the reports are due, the timeline of the grant, and everything that you need to know about the grant. And then clicking on attachment B is the funding allocation. It tells you exactly how much is the total grant and the share of each regional center. So you see here, ACRC has 786,000 with 100,000 of it for, implementation of the grant, and CVRC and everyone else that are awarded the grant. And then the application is the letters attachment C, which is provided in the first link. But I want you guys to also look at the budget, the budget form. So it will tell you exactly. It has a template for how to write your budget, and they are a fillable, I believe. And so that's a budget form. The application form is attachment C. Everything is fillable, and you select the project type that you want to implement. Community connector is one of them, community engagement and friendship outreach, education and training. You can implement workshops, information sessions, financial assistance, increase access to programs that are culturally and linguistically sensitive, setting modification, transportation, and vendorization assistant. And if you read the whole attachment A, it will it discusses exactly what these projects are and the parameters of the projects. And in this application, you can see they're fillable. It's kind of a little. It's I see it as prescribed. Like you can only write so much, and I think there's a number count in words. And so, which makes it easier for the applicant because you don't have to, you go right to the point and your proposal is concise and, direct to the point. And so these are the questions. You fill them out and then you submit them to us. I'm not sure at this point yet if it's going to be John Decker that will accept the application, but or if it is me. So I will find that information when he gets back. Let's see. Any questions from the group about the grant? I think I missed telling you guys the purpose of the grant. Again, social recreation targeting culturally and linguistically diverse communities. It has to be integrated and inclusive. So we expect that you have your general population um, participating in the social recreation, and then you have clients of Alta. Um, uh, Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but let me see if I can go to the front. And who are who's eligible to apply for the grant? CBOs, vendors are considered CBOs, religious organizations, private entities, county and city parks and recreation entities. So almost everyone is eligible to apply this grant. But again, uh, remember that it is designed for clients of Alta, for us, Alta, but integrated and inclusive service. So we expect general population to be also part of those, the social rec program. All right, I'm going to open it to the public for questions. And if there are no questions,
Hi, I had a question.
Okay.
We're in FRC. Would that qualify?
Sure. Yep.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
my question mostly was, we have several programs that we would like to do this under. For example, like we have a gardening program and a Lego club program. Would I fill out separate applications for each of them, or just one application for our entire organization?
No, I think it's one application, different programs. So
Perfect.
one application, you will get one grant, although you have several activities within your grant.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right.
Hi, I
Anybody
have
else?
a question.
Uh,
Hi, this is Leah Brown. I'm with UCP. We have a recreation division that's pretty new, and we're doing social community events every month, 1 to 2 events a month. We found out, well, we were learning that some of our participants or clients that are Alta regional clients are not able to participate in some of the social recreational activities due to needing a nurse. I was reviewing the 8 project types. Can we apply for a nurse to be present during these activities under any of the 8 projects?
I don't know at this point because the only the only people specified in the grant to be hired are those like culturally and linguistically diverse staff. So let me find that out for you, Leah. I just don't want to give you an incorrect information. I would say yes, but um, that's not a definite yes. So let me find out and I will get back to you. I think I have your email too.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
Hello. Hi,
Yes.
Helen. Hi,
Hi.
Helen. Hi, this is Meena from We Embrace.
Oh, okay. Hi, Meena.
Thank you so much for sharing with all of us about this opportunity.
Okay.
As you know, that We Embrace is all about inclusive activities. We do events as well as like like an annual event, plus also like the classes, like different recreational classes,
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
school programs. So like how you said to someone else, under We Embrace we have different projects.
Ye-
So we need to submit one application with the list of projects that we plan to do, and explanation for each and every project. Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. Although, how many projects are we talking about? I know you have several activities within your foundation.
Yeah.
Uh,
So So as far as like classes, like leisure and recreation, we have like around 15 of them. As
Uh-huh.
far as the events as such, it's like around 8 of them. So when we are applying for the grant, it has to be like related to hands-on working with the clients, right? Or is it something like the organizational part as well? Like events which we are renting out, I mean the location and that kind of stuff, are we eligible to mention that in the grant? So for
Yeah.
example,
Mina,
yeah,
let's talk about that one to
sure.
one. Can we do that? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah,
not a
because
problem.
I think
Try to-
you have a lot in your program, so I think that that needs to be, we need to have like a phone discussion about it so I can
Sounds good.
understand better.
Absolutely appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be in touch.
All right. I'm going to um, write my number on the chat. So anybody that wants to um, talk to me about this project, please go ahead and give me a call. 916.
Excellent. Thank you, Ellen.
6558. Okay. And just writing my email again.
No, that's great.
Alta
So
Regional.
was there any other questions from the group while Helen's doing that on the social rec grants? There's a couple things in the chat I wanted to address as well, so we'll do that next.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
So it sounds like if we have sort of standalone projects, it'd be best at some point to break those up into multiple applications so they could be either approved or denied separately. That's what I heard from Helen, right?
I didn't get that. Sorry, Eric.
It's okay. If we want to approve for multiple projects that could be standalone projects, it sounds like you guys recommend that those be included in different applications so that they could be scored differently or approved, one not approved, something like that.
Yeah, so you have several projects, right? And you want one application, several projects.
You want only one application, even if we have multiple types of projects?
Multiple types of projects. You can do that. If on the application it specifies, I know you guys have read it, it specifies exactly the different types of projects and how you can also work with other regional centers, include other regional centers, just have one lead regional center. So if you're in Sacramento, you want to include VMRC in your proposal, then Alta is probably going to be your lead regional center. Yeah,
Gotcha.
so you can have that. You can have one application for one project or one application, kind of like multiple activities in your proposal.
Okay. I noticed that so you guys want it on the 15th of December. You guys need to submit it by the 31st of January. Are you guys planning any sort of interviews or activities with applicants to better understand? Because it's not a long application. Is there a process that these applicants should be considering or that would be going through between the 15th or whenever we submit them and when you submit to DDS?
Yeah, so you submit on December 15th. Alta will review. Depending on we have questions about your proposal and how you plan to implement them, then we may um, may ask for a meeting with you guys,
Okay.
or just a phone call, just for clarification.
Okay. And then we've been trying to work with you guys for a while on our vendorization for social rec, and we haven't been able to meet, or we still have a lot of questions that haven't been answered. So I just would, for maybe not for other organizations, but for our organizations, the December 15th is a little tight, just because we still have questions about the vendorization process outside of the grant, and I think we're a little behind by where we were hoping we would be at with that process. So it's raising some more questions. So just something to bring up. That's 45 days between the 15th, December 15th, and when it has to go to DDS.
Yeah.
I don't know if others are going to run into the same problem, but we feel like we're a little behind, and that 15th comes up pretty quick with holidays. So I don't know if that's movable or changeable. I wanted to put I wanted to put that out there that I'm a little concerned about that date. It's not a hard application. We just had questions about social work in general that was affecting our applicants.
Well, it's not, so this one, the grant doesn't involve vendorization. It's an operations budget. We don't deal with POSs with this grant. Everything that you do with the grant and the billing and payment, you bill directly us, and you will be paid directly from our operations budget. So it doesn't involve vendorization. It's a different process. Everything is already laid out by DDS. If you review all like attachment A, B, and C, they've already laid out everything. They've specified the scoring. So Alta will review and score, but the final decision on who to approve is going to be with DDS. We can make recommendations when we review them, but we don't do the final determination of who's going to get approved and who's not. But so everything that we needed to do is already kind of set up. So all we have to do is just gather, get the proposals, gather our staff that's going to be reviewing them, and then send our recommendation to DDS. Even the template for the reports is going to be given by DDS. So it's really something that DDS should have done themselves, but they decided to give it to the regional centers with everything already laid out, and them making the final decision and giving the money to us. So, does that answer your question, Eric? I know.
Yeah, we can talk more offline. It's more of a question of if we can get vendors for certain activities and then we can receive funding.
Oh, Eric, we lost you. There's no sound.
I was muted.
Oh, okay.
I thank you. We can talk offline is what I was saying.
Yeah, definitely.
If certain services end up being vendored, then I wouldn't need to apply necessarily for funding for the grant. So that was sort of my question, was trying to better understand what would be vendored so I know where to fill in the gaps maybe with the grant.
Yeah.
But we'll talk offline about that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? I think that's it for us, Jordan.
Okay, well, thank you. Exciting information, and there'll be more to come. Thank you all. I do know that there was a couple of things in the chat. Let me go back to the chat here. I know that there was discussion about people. I'm trying to remember who it was. Petition. Sheila Abrams, are you on from DDSO? Did you want to talk just a second about the petition that you've posted here in the chat? For the
Yes.
DSP? Okay, great.
And I think, we're all are pretty much having the same problems, and it gets redundant after a while saying it, but we have to keep saying it because we need it fixed. Our participants are the number one thing. Sadly enough, DSPs can go and easily get another job if they can't continue to work in this field. Our participants just can't get up and go somewhere else. And so in order to keep our participants content and safe and happy in our society, we need to have that support to be able for them to continue. And so the main reason we all know that they are leaving the field, the DSPs, is because of the wages. And and that is the number one problem. People aren't in this field because they love the pay. They love the work that they do. They love supporting our participants. And so if they have a wage that's livable and comfortable, they can continue to do the work that they enjoy. And so that is the main root of the problem there. So if we were able to increase that, more people will just not only stay, but be more attracted to the position, that they have both. They have the pay and they have the joy of serving, our participants. We've had several people walk through everything, and looking for employment. They loved the place and they loved everything about it. And then when they find out what the pay is, then they can no longer continue, moving forward. So I think that's such a serious issue that we really do need to pay attention to that and stop sweeping it under the carpet and thinking it'll go away and we're going to all go back to traditional. We have all the staff, all the room. It's not going to happen. That's just reality. Some programs, if that's happening with them, I give them kudos and hope for the best. But at this point, I think it's more of programs not having enough staff to be able to go back to the way we were.
No, very important, and I definitely agree with you. And so this petition that you've put here is that something that did you create that, or is that but people can sign that?
Yeah, I created it, and
Right.
if you just click on the link, no money, you don't have to pay anything, but just sign it, and we're going to try to get as many as we can, and then move forward with pushing it to the to the people who can do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Very
would be
important.
appreciated. And if you can
Okay.
get all of your staff to sign also to let them know that we do care. We do know it's difficult.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for putting that in the chat. Really appreciate it. Super important. And I know that there's work groups, right, John, and folks are working on this DSP matter. I don't know all those facts, but we'll definitely have John, address more of this too on the second. I also know that I see an SG had put some information in just regarding, right, all the kind of barriers folks are dealing with right now with the end of alternative services and going back to traditional and what that's going to look like and clients, right, and the transportation needs and things of that. So it's definitely a huge concern for all. And I know that we are trying to address resources so that folks can get transported to day programs. So we will ask that John Decker focus on some of that for the December 2nd. And I hope too that that like Michelle had mentioned, the PAC is trying to put together some workshops, not only for TDS, but to also just kind of be available to talk to other vendors about how are we transitioning with the resources and the restrictions that we have right now. So we'll definitely on the 2nd, we'll probably have some dates solidified by then, don't you think, Michelle? Or closely in the beginning of December to get some dates set up. So
we're looking for it's the first part of December and then the first part of January. So we haven't nailed down the exact date, but that's what we're looking at. So 2 of them in the next couple months.
Yeah. Anything else for folks on that topic or any other agenda items? I know we've ran a little bit over, but that's great. I'm glad we had good conversation and good agenda items today for our community. So I'll just give it a second if anybody else has anything. All right. Well, I hope you guys all have a nice weekend. Will not be holding coffee with community services next Friday. Our office is closed both Thursday and Friday in observation of the Thanksgiving holiday. For those of you that do celebrate, I hope you have a great day of thanks with your family and your friends and your loved ones. And thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your partnership. So have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Thank
folks.
you.